All right, we're live. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Trading Learning 101. It is currently July 11th. We're going to do a webinar based on StreetSmart Edge stock screener. We're going to mess around with the stock screener, show you how I have it set up, show you guys the power of this platform, how I find stocks to trade every single day, and we're going to answer some questions that you all may have. So hopefully you are all having a great weekend so far, and hopefully you all killed it this past week. The past 2-3 months, the stock market has just been on fire. Every single day we are having multiple stocks just running and exploding. Very, very great times right now, and just life-changing opportunities every day in the stock market. So we'll just give it a second, let people come in and join the stream if they want. And if you guys are interested, I'll point this out. In the video description, I have a direct link to the Trading Learning 101 Discord group. If you're interested in joining it, I have this jam-packed with all kinds of educational content you guys can learn from, chat with other traders. I'm in here all the time and throughout the market hours posting my ideas, what I'm trading, what stocks I'm looking at. So the Trading Learning 101 Discord group, I will leave a link for this in the video description. And also, if you want more StreetSmart Edge tutorial videos, I have a link to the playlist. I have over 20 videos of tutorial videos on StreetSmart Edge. Check it out. So much great information and knowledge at your fingertips. And if you guys have any comments, let's see here. And just give me a second too, guys, because it's been a while since I've live streamed. I think the last time I live streamed was like 8 months ago. So I'm just working out the kinks and trying to get this all set up for you guys. But all right, glad to see you guys are all commenting. You guys can hear me all right? Everything's all good on your end? Picture quality's all good? Like I said, it's been about 8 months since I did a live stream. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me and see me before we jump into this. Now I also do, just to mention, I have a 30-second delay on this too, to make the video quality and everything just run a lot smoother. But let's get into this. Showing you guys how I have mine usually set up. First, we'll go over my watch list. I get a lot of questions on my watch list all the time. So how I have my watch list set up, I like to keep things categorized and in order throughout the week. So what I normally like to do through the week, I'll have a watch list for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That way, on that day, let's say it's a Wednesday, I can add all of the stocks that popped up and were hot. And over the weekend, I can go back on specific days and see, like on a Tuesday, all of these stocks I added on my watch list. And I can quickly go through and see how they played out throughout the rest of the week. Now for other watch lists that I have like all stars. So if I see a stock that has a great chart, it's potential for a swing trade, I really like the stock, the company, or the chart, I'll add it to my all stars list. And then we had China stocks recently exploding and taking off. I made a China watch list. I have a weekly watch list. So on Sunday night, I'll go through the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday watch list and I'll pick out the best stocks to continue watching for the upcoming week. And then I have my market. So this is like all my main indexes. So I can quickly switch over to this watch list and I could see a general idea of how the market is. So I could see most of everything is green. The S&P 500, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ. And take a screenshot of this. These are all of your main market indexes here. Take a screenshot of this, add all of these, create your own watch list if you want. I have oil, gas, and gold ETFs all on one, so I can get, a general idea and see visually what's the top performing and what's the worst performing when it comes to the oil, gas, gold, and so on. And then I have all of my sectors. These are just the S&P 500 sectors, like your XLV, which is your healthcare, XLK, which is your technology. Just all of these ETFs right here also. So energy ETFs, biotechs, market ETFs, like your VIX, VXX, UVXY. I'm a real big fan of keeping things categorized, like I said. And then I got all my banks right here. Russell 2000. And then what I also like to do also, and what you could do with StreetSmart Edge, is you can right click on the tab of the watch list and you can go to columns and settings. And we'll open that up. Add all of the columns that you want. I like to keep things simple. So I'll have like the last trade, the change on the day, the percentage change, volume, the sector it's in, the industry. And the sector and industry is important to me because the stock market is very trendy. Whenever I see stocks pop up and all these stocks are popping up and I'm glancing at my watch list and all of these stocks as I'm adding them, I can visually see that they're all in the same industry or in the same sector. Then I can say to myself, all right, here, we got a sector breakout. Let me jump on FinViz real quick. I'll type in the stock like so. Let me bring this over, go to FinViz, and then just for an example, WIMI was a big runner. I'll go to FinViz, Communication Services, Advertising Agencies, and it's a China-related stock. I'm putting all of these things together, and I'll click on Communication Service for the sector. And then I'll quickly filter it to the top percentage gainers to see which one is the leader and which ones are following in sympathy. So WIMI was the number one big percentage gainer for this sector, followed by INSE, EDUC, and U1. I traded U1 on Friday, made $600 when it pushed back up towards $20. But you have to be putting all of this together as the market's going on. It's all about reacting and seeing what's going on. And the only way you're going to get better at this is by being here every day, putting that screen time in. And over the course of the time of putting the screen time in, you're going to see all of these market cycles. All of these market cycles come and go. And then down the road, the market cycle will repeat itself. And you'll be like, all right, I remember when this happened. Like China stocks have been running like the past 3 to 4 years. Low float Chinese stocks. Before that, it was all of these shipping stocks like dry ships, DCIX, tops, and it's just wild when you put all of this stuff together and remember, because other traders remember also. And that's another thing to keep in mind. Whenever you see a stock like U1, for an example, and we'll type that in. Traders remember stocks that run. U1 had a nice move on Friday. And if we look on the daily right here, this ran back here June 16th from $4 up to $55. Whenever you see a stock with a history of a big run, traders remember that. So they'll pay attention to that stock. And this is what U1 did here on Friday. Right here. Just perked up right here from the open. Nice little wedge right there. Got a nice spike from 13 all the way up to 1750. Pulled back. Look at that. Another wedge right there. From 1550, this shot up to $20. A $5 move, guys. 500 shares. A $5 move. That's $2,500 if you were to ride that whole move. But none of us are looking to ride that whole move. We all just want a piece of that move. A piece of the pie, as they would say. So, I've just made a video recently. You want to always be on the lookout for triangles, wedges as a trader. Look it, we got one right there at the open. My head's in the way. Right there at the open. And it got this spike up. And then we got another wedge right here. Pops on up. And then look, it makes another wedge right here. A descending wedge. So it's just all wedges, U-shapes. It's a lot of patterns over and over and over again in the stock market. Because why? Because human nature never changes. This is why we see these patterns repeat over and over and over and over again. And a lot of people always buy at the top. I was there once, and sometimes, you know, you let greed get the best of you. You chase after stocks and you end up buying at the top, and the stock comes down and you're hoping for it to come back up. You got to be here every day, put that screen time in, and develop. So let's see what we got here going on in the comments. Joel Ark says, low float, do these have high as rises? I don't know what you're trying to say there. And then we got Scooter saying, they said they limited the quality all around the world to 480 in the live streaming due to excessive use that started late March. Okay, I could see that. Thanks, Scooter, for looking that up for me. Ascending triangle as well, yeah. I look at all triangles the same. Ascending, descending, wedges, rising, falling, wedges. They're all, to me, they're all the same. You know, that's why I always just say I'm always looking for triangles in U-shapes. But let's get into this screener. Let's show you guys what I got going on here. Alright, so the main screener that I use every single day, I don't use stock scanners. At one point, I was using Trade Ideas, which is a great stock scanner. Trade Ideas. Let's look them up real quick. Trade Ideas is one of the top best stock scanners out there. I loved using Trade Ideas. And I was paying like $118 a month for it, so it pays for itself in one trade. And as a trader, you have to develop as a trader and figure out what are your strengths? What do you want to focus on? See right here, I don't know why they do it like this, like $6.20 a day, $2.90 a day. I don't get why they just give it to you straight up. But yeah, it's still $118 a month for Trade Ideas. They have two options. The higher one is for the artificial intelligence. It's like their algorithm bot, Holly or Molly. You pay an extra $100 for that, which I thought was pointless. You could see how the bot trades, because the bot will trade, and you could see the trades that it takes and the stocks that it finds. I really wasn't into that. But if you're into algorithm, then yeah, I would say go that route. But just the basic plan of $118 a month, you got all the stock scans. You could create whatever you wanted. And if you go back my old videos, you could see all the trade idea videos that I've made, and I've made a lot of them. But I don't use Trade Ideas no more. I just use stock screeners. I try to keep it really basic and simple. All I'm looking for are the biggest percentage gainers, and I'm watching stocks that have spiked in the previous week and keeping tabs on them the next couple of weeks for any potential bounces or continuation or reversals. For authorized shares. So I've made a video on shares float and shares outstanding. Shares float is the available amount of shares to the public to trade. All right, Joel, one question at a time. So back into the screener here. First, we'll go over the gap scan and my criteria for the gap scan. And how you can find this gap scan is it's under, you open up the little sidebar here. It's on the left side, and you get this list of options. You go down to equity predefined screeners. You click on that, and it'll open up this big list for you. And I have the gap up, stay up. You click on that one, and it'll open up a tab for you. And once you open up that new tab, you can right click on it. You can rename it to your gap scan or whatever you want to call it. And you can change the columns and the colors if you would like. But we'll go to the criteria, and we'll show you how I have this set up. And one thing I want to point out before we jump into this, the update little thing right up here at the top right. You want to make sure you have that at 15 seconds. I'm a day trader, so time is everything. There's a 15-second delay on this screener. That's the difference between a screener and a scanner. A scanner is scanning the stock market real time. A screener has a delay to it. So with StreetSmart Edge, a 15-second delay is not that bad. Honestly, it's not. So I have it set to update every 15 seconds. And then at the bottom left, right down here where my body is, you could see it's finding stocks. It's telling me right now it's got 50 matches as of 1/24/26. And you'll see every 15 seconds it automatically updates. And you can display. We'll click on this thing here. You could display from the top or the bottom, and you could pick how many stocks you want added on your list. So if you only want to see the top 10, top 20, or if you want to see the top 50, I just keep it at 25. And then results sorted by, and you got this huge list. Look at all these options that you have to go through. This is what I like about StreetSmart Edge. It's set up so simple. You just have to know where things are. And when you know where things are, the capability of this thing is so powerful. So you could sort things by RSI, simple moving averages, the low of the day, the week, the year, the percentage. I just keep it because since this is a gap scan, I want this sorted by gap. All right, so back to the criteria. So at the top, right up here, you're going to have a little checkbox. You're going to want to uncheck that. And when you uncheck that box, these are all of the options that you can add to your custom screener right here. And then once you go through this list and choose what you want, go back to that little checkbox up here at the top and select that checkbox. And what that will do is that will only show the criteria that you've selected. It just makes it a lot easier on the eyes, so you're not squinting with all of those options there, and you can really focus on what you've selected. So what I've selected for this stock screener is I got the exchange. So I have all of the exchanges selected. The NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange, the American Stock Exchange, NASDAQ Global Markets, NASDAQ Small Caps, NASDAQ Capital Markets. I do not have OTC Pink Sheets or OTC Bulletin Board stocks. I'm not interested in OTC stocks or Pink Sheets. Then I have last trade. I have two last trades. The first one, the last trade, is greater than 2, which is $2. And then I have another last trade is less than $40. And how you can add another one of these is just simply click add another filter right there. And you can add all of the prices that you would like. If you want to remove one, just click that little minus button right there. So I have it set from greater than $2 and less than $40. So from $2 to $40, that is my range that I like to look for stocks. Now for volume, I have this one selected next. Right here. And again, this is my gap scanner. So pre-market. Pre-market, I want volume to just start to heat up. So just starting to heat up for me is around 20,000 shares traded so far. I don't want to see a stock with over 1 million, 2 million, 5 million in volume already pre-market, that's telling me that either institutions are getting in on it and they're already in it, so they're going to be selling it to me during market hours, and it's overcrowded. When you have a stock that's overcrowded, especially pre-market, you have so many personalities and trading styles in that stock, it's just going to lead to randomness. And this is all stuff you have to think of as a trader. It's all mind games. It really is. That's why you hear a lot of people say it's 90% psychology and 10% or maybe even 5% actual trading. So it's outthinking the other people. That's what it's about. So volume, I have it set to greater than 20,000. So it's only scanning for stocks that are gapping up with volume over 20,000. I want to try to catch it when it's just starting to heat up before the volume, which I also like to call the mob, enters in and overcrowd the stock. The next, price performance. I have two price performances right here. The first one is the percentage change is greater than 3%. And then the second one is the percentage gap. And the percentage gap is greater than 3. So percentage change, percentage gap, both greater than 3%. I want it to be looking for stocks that are 3% or above gapping up. And that's my gap scan. Click at the bottom right here on the screener. Make sure you click that save screen so you save it. It'll ask you to overwrite it. Click yes. And then you'll have it saved on StreetSmart Edge. Then when you go to results, every morning I wake up, I have a big list here of all of the stocks gapping up pre-market. This is how I find stocks every day to trade. And I also, another tip here, I also use Twitter. I'm following traders like Deckmark Trades, Investors Underground, Warrior Trading, Guy Gentile. Who are some other traders? SMB Capital, to name a few. Every day they're going to post what they're watching also, because they want volume to come into the stock. They want to trade liquid stocks. So Twitter is a very, very useful tool in the stock market. I'll use Twitter to see what other traders are watching. And when you follow traders on YouTube, or not YouTube, Twitter, make sure you go, when you follow them, click the bell. That way when you're on your phone, whenever they send a tweet out, it'll send a notification right to your phone. So I'll be sitting here pre-market and I'll have my phone in front of me and I'll just see all of these notifications go off on my phone, and I'll easily see what other traders are watching. And this is the type of stuff you have to think about as a trader. So Twitter, very useful tool here. And then I'll just go through here and pick the stocks that I want, which charts look interesting to me, and I'll add it to my watch list. And then one other thing you can do is go to columns and settings. And right up here at the top, if there's a specific column that you want to add and you don't want to look for it out of all of these options here, look at all those options. There's a search column at the top up here. Just simply type in what you want to look for and it'll automatically filter, and you can easily click on what you want. I already have it selected here, which is the percentage gap. So the gap percentage right there. And you could filter this. You could filter it with the columns. Now don't forget that. If you want to see which stocks are gapping up the most, click on the column here to filter it from the top gappers to the bottom gappers. Or if you want to see the biggest percentage change. Even simple things like that can make a difference. If you want to see which ones have the most volume pre-market, instead of creating a whole other stock screener, just mess around with the columns. Look at that. Easily. Just by clicking on the column, I'm filtering which stock has the most volume pre-market. And I can see NIO here has the most volume pre-market. And this stock down here has the least volume pre-market. Alright, moving on. We'll go to my main screener here. This is the screener that I use 95% of the time. All these other ones that I have here, top volume, daily high count, change from open, percentage gainers, I barely ever use these. Sometimes I'll glance at them, but my main screener is this one right here. Let's go to the criteria. And you guys are going to be blown away at how simple this is. So again, my settings, the exchanges, I have all of the exchanges selected except for the OTC pink sheets. Then I have the last trade. It's scanning for stocks between $2 and $100. The volume is greater than 75,000. And the percentage change is greater than 3. And that's all it is. That's my basic main screener. It's that simple. There's no need to overcomplicate things. No need. Trading is already complicated enough. Why would I want to make my job harder? And you hear all of these trading gurus, they all say, keep it simple. You don't need to overcomplicate it. If you guys have any questions, go ahead, feel free to ask. I'm always glancing over at the chat. And again, just to plug it one more time, if you're interested in joining the Trading Learning 101 Discord group, I have a link in the video description. Feel free to join this group if you would like. I'm always posting ideas, what stocks I'm watching, and there's all kinds of great educational channels in here, guys. All kinds. I'm always adding to it, tweaking with it, all kinds of stuff. And I have, since this video topic is on stock screeners, I have, where is it? I have my my stock screener. I have a picture of all of my stock screeners and the settings that I have. And there's a stock market tools here too. So the stock market tools is, I give you guys all the websites that are out there, like Benzinga Pro, Trade Ideas, BAM SEC, Scans, Intensity Stock Watch. I'm always trying to add stuff to show you guys what's out there and what you can use as tools to help you. Right here. This is it's called Stock Screener StreetSmart Edge, and I've taken screenshots of all of my stock screeners with the settings that I have to make it even easier for you guys to set your screeners up how I have my screeners set up. And I have one screener I just recently created on StreetSmart Edge. We'll go over that one in a moment. That one's a little bit more of a experimental screener, getting to do with squeezes. So we'll go over that in a second. But yeah, join the Trading Learning 101 Discord group. Link is in the video description. You guys are more than welcome to come. I'm always looking for traders to join, keep in touch, grow. Discord is free. Yup. One more thing I'll add about the Discord. And you see the start here at the top with the stars at the Discord. Everybody always overlooks this. Start here. It's there for a reason. If you start there and work your way down, you'll know how everything is run in this Discord. So how I have it set up with the Discord, you enter it. The more you interact with this Discord and you're active in chat, the more you will be rewarded. You will level up. I have a point system that keeps track of how active you are, because I want dedicated traders, students, and I want to surround myself with solid individuals and people that want to take this seriously. I really do. I want to surround myself with serious people. I want to build a strong team. So the more active you are, the more points you will get, and you will level up, and the more rooms you will unlock. And the more active you are, you're proving yourself that you want to be a part of this community and team, and you will be rewarded for that. Alright, let's see what we got going on here in chat. What type of trader am I? I am a day trader. I do dabble in swing trading, but I barely ever swing trade. When I first started, I tried swing trading. I was horrible at it. But now that I've got 5 years under my belt now, I'll swing trade sometimes. And I have a swing chat room that I'll post my trades if I ever take a swing trade. Is there a trading, so James Gale says, is there a trading strategy based solely on stock screening for extremely gap trading? And you mentioned looking for the highs and lows for a certain time frame. Do you know if people trade like this? There's all kinds of trading strategies out there. There's millions and millions of trading strategies out there. And to be honest with you, to answer your question, you have to search within yourself. This is why I say at the end of every single one of my videos, study, 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 have that patience, have that discipline. You have to get that screen time in, and you have to ask yourself questions. And you have to figure out, you personally, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. And you need to build your own trading strategy based on your strengths. And then when it comes to your weaknesses, that's when you pursue and look for other people that make up for your weaknesses. This is why I have the Discord chat room and why I'm so big on wanting a big dedicated team and multiple eyes in the markets. I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. And every day it's a battle in the market to have that discipline stick to your rules, stick to what you know. And going back to your trading strategy, there's millions and millions and millions of trading strategies out there. You just have to figure out who you are and develop your own trading strategy. I hope that answered your question, James. Joel trades OTC exchange. I'm not a big fan of OTC stocks, but I'm always keeping an eye out for OTC stocks. So if you join the Trading Learning 101 Discord, you could be the OTC guy. Because I always like to have multiple eyes in the markets. I want to know, that's the power of a chat room. You have multiple eyes out there. People are always posting ideas. You can use that as knowledge and use it to your advantage. Yeah, I know the quality of this video is not that great. I'm sorry about that. But once the live stream's over and YouTube renders the video, you can come back and rewatch this. So the quality will get better once they render it. I'm sorry. It's we tried fixing it earlier. It's on YouTube's end for the live streams. Oh, what type of trader am I? Breakout or pullback? I'm more of a reversal type trader. I don't really ever trade breakouts. Sometimes I do, but I like to trade pullbacks, but my main strength is reversals. I like to let stocks trend down and then watch them reverse and trend back up to the high. And I'm real big on short squeezes also. I love trading low float stocks. I don't trade options. No. Options are really complicated. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've been doing excuse me. I've been doing this for 5 years, and every single time I try to get into options and learn about it, it just loses me. It's so complicated. It's the terms that they use, and it's mind-bending. It really is. I just stick with equities and ETFs. Alright, let's go over this special screener that I've created. The main screener, once again, just to recap, it's really, really basic, guys. I'm looking for stocks that are percentage change of 3% or more. The volume is greater than 75,000, and the price range is between $2 and $100. The volume, now this is the thing with volume, especially with stocks. And we'll go over this one for an example. See, this one had like 600,000 in volume on the day. And you see how spotty it is right here? Like there's not really much going on. But I'll keep an eye on it, especially if it's earlier in the trading day. I'll keep an eye at that volume, and if there's a stock that I'm interested in, I'll add it to my watch list, and I'll always throughout the day keep glancing at that volume on my watch list. Right here, on the volume in my column. I want to see if volume is gradually increasing on it. If volume is increasing as the day goes on, there's a demand for that stock. It's supply and demand. That's what it basically is. But then when we get into stocks that have just ridiculous, massive amounts of volume, 27 million for plug, That's a lot of volume for that day. And when you have a stock that has that much volume, to me, it leads to randomness. And like I've stated before in this video, we've had stocks recently hit 150 million in volume in a day. It was just absurd amounts of volume. 250 million in volume. That's absurd amount of volume. There are so many strategies and personalities trading that stock. It's just going to lead to choppiness and randomness, because you have people that trade moving average crossovers, you have people that trade MACD, you have people that trade Fibonacci, RSI. There's so many strategies. So you have people buying here, selling here, buying here, buying here, selling here, buying, selling, buying. And with all of these circles, you have all of these conflicted personalities. It's just going to lead to this and choppiness in a stock. So I'm not a big fan of trading stocks that have massive amounts of volume. I want to try to catch stocks that have enough volume that's just starting to heat up, and then sell into the volume as they all come in and attack. Low float equals high volatility. Asked by James. Yup. Low float, low supply. You have a big wave of demand come in. That price is going to go up because there's a low supply of it. Sean, I can't answer the option question. I know other traders use options as a way to hedge their portfolio or their trades, but I'm not an options trader. I really could not tell you anything about options. And StreetSmart Edge with their indicators, if you compare it to Thinkorswim, it's nothing compared to Thinkorswim. This is all the studies that they have here. Not many at all, maybe 50. But they're your basic studies, like your moving average, your MACD, what else? On balance volume, your true range, Kettler channels. That's what I like about StreetSmart Edge. They don't overcomplicate things. They just keep it simple. They give you what you want. But there are a couple things that are irritating with StreetSmart Edge. Like when you go to draw support and resistance lines on a chart and you have multiple time frames, it doesn't sync with all of your other charts. So you have to go through individually all of your charts and plot the support and resistance in your trend lines. That's irritating. So Charles Schwab, if you're watching this, please fix that. I know a lot of people are really irritated over that, and it's pretty pathetic that you guys can't even have that simple fix in a charting platform like this. Alright, so back to the special screener that we'll get into here. And I was just messing around with this stock screener last week and was putting it to the test. It's actually alright. So what it is, and I forgot to change the name of it. Let me change the name. I'll just name it MA Squeeze. So this is the moving average squeeze. And what this is doing is, I'll bring up the daily to give you guys a better example. So all these lines here on my chart, the blue line, the red line, those are my moving averages. The blue line is the 50-day moving average. The red line is the 200-day moving average. Now, this is a trading strategy within itself. They call it either the golden cross or the death cross. The death cross is when the 50-day crosses below the 200-day moving average. The golden cross is when the 50-day crosses above the 200-day moving average. So, and what you'll see too with a lot of especially low float stocks, if that 50-day moving average crosses above that 200-day moving average on the daily chart, the stock will squeeze like it did right here. Let me get my little pen here. Right here. But this is the 50-day, the blue line, and this green line is the 100-day moving average. Now, I've seen people use EMAs on their daily chart. The only EMA that I use on my daily is a 13-day exponential moving average, which is this gold line right here. But when it comes to all my other moving averages, and I've asked a trader this, why does he use exponential moving averages on his daily charts? And he said because Ross Cameron from Warrior Trading uses EMAs on his daily charts. I'm not a fan of using exponential moving averages on a daily chart. Exponential moving averages are more for intraday charts, like your 1 minute, 5 minute, or 10-minute charts, because they move faster, exponential moving averages. Regular moving averages, they move slow. So, and when you go to all of these charting websites like FinViz, TradingView, the default settings on all of their charts are always the 50-day and the 200-day simple moving average. So why not use what all of these websites are using as their default settings? I want to see what everybody else is seeing. So I have a few moving averages that I use. I use a 300-day moving average, which is this purple line. The 200-day moving average, which is the red line. The 100-day moving average, which is the green line. And then the blue line is my 50-day moving average. And this gold line is the 13 exponential moving average. So with this stock screener here that I've created, I created it where the 50-day crosses above the 200-day moving average for a squeeze. And we'll go over the settings. So the last trade is greater than $2, and difference between last trade and the 50-day moving average is greater than, and I just keep that blank. I don't want there to be a value there. I just want the difference. I don't really care what the difference is there. And real quickly, how you add this so you guys can follow along. During all the predefined screeners here, you click on the 15-day SMA crossing above 50-day SMA. Click on that and it'll open a tab up for you so you guys can follow along. No, I don't use the RSI at all. I'll answer your guys' question here in a second. Let me get through this screener and I'll get back to your questions. So the last trade is greater than $2 and the distance the difference between the last trade and the 50-day SMA is greater than, and I leave that blank. And then the last trade is less than 50. So the last trade is greater than $2 and less than $50. That's my personal range. I want to find stocks between $2 and $50. Then we get to the technicals, and it's only one that I have. The SMA 50-day I have selected, and it's the difference between the simple moving average 50-day and the simple moving average 200-day is between 0.25 cents and 50 cents. And this is updating every 15 seconds. And this is being sorted by relative strength. And then I click Save Screen so I can save all of my settings. And to point something out real quick, when you're in here tweaking around with the settings of your personal screener, if you want to quickly see if it's finding stocks and actually working as you make it or create it, remember at the bottom left right here, right down here where my body is, remember that time it updates automatically and it tells you if it's finding any stocks? As you're going through and creating your screener or making changes, get into a habit of always glancing down at that so you could see it's actually still working and finding stocks. Because the last thing you want to do is get deep into it and you have all of these settings that you're just adjusting and messing with, and the screener stopped finding stocks, 15 or 20 steps ago. So always glance at that every time you make a change to see if it's still picking up and finding stocks. Or you could quickly tab over to the results and see the list that it's compiling for you. And I will add one thing on here. I want to add the exchange. Add all of these stocks to the exchange. And then you can also pop up your little watch there and watch it, because remember, it updates every 15 seconds. And wait for it to update again to see if the input, I've added all of these exchanges, see if it still picks up and finds stocks here, which it is. Alright, let's get into these questions again. Sean asked, have I tried using the SMA, RSI, EMA in the StreetSmart Edge? I use the simple moving average and exponential moving average. I just went over and explained. I don't use RSI. For me, and this is just personal preference, when I look at RSI, it's just like looking at a chart. I mean, look at it. It's exactly the same. I can clearly see that it's overbought at this level, and if it comes back down to this level, it would be oversold. And this is just my personal opinion. I've never seen the point in looking at RSI. It's just not for me. And that, I'm not bashing on people that use it. I just don't see no use in it. When I can clearly just look at a chart and I can clearly see plug up at this level right here. It's overbought clearly at the daily standpoint. So Curtis asked, what is enough volume? Enough volume, it depends on the situation. I mean, you want volume on a stock because, you know, if you want to buy a stock, you need someone to sell you that stock. And then once you want to sell that stock, you need somebody to sell that stock too. So you want volume in on a stock. And it depends on the time of day, really. Let's say, for an example, can I use for an example? So if it's, that's why I always glance at the volume as the day goes on. I want to see if volume is attacking that stock. If a stock has 2,000 in volume, nobody's trading that stock. I wouldn't even touch it. I won't even touch a stock if it's under 25,000 in volume. But it's all personal preference. How big are you trading? How small are you trading? If you're trading small, you know, you could maybe get away with trading a low volume stock. But if you're looking to buy 5,000, 10,000 shares and the stock's only traded a couple thousand on the day, you are the volume on the day. So it's honestly common sense when it comes to volume. I mean, you want volume in on a stock. You don't want too much volume, like I've mentioned, but when it starts getting into the 100,000, 200,000, it's starting to heat up. Keep glancing at the volume. See if people are attacking. Is there a demand for that stock? Watch the tape. What do you see? Do you see more buyers than sellers? Do you see more sellers than buyers? It's a multitude of things. It's for me, it's hard sometimes answering just a specific question because the stock market is so diversified and there's just so many factors that go into effect. It's kind of hard to just give an answer sometimes. But volume, try to stick to stocks, the volume above 20,000, 50,000, and just glance at it and see if there's a demand for the stock. And depending on how large you're trading with too. No, I don't use the EMA or the SMA or the RSI in the StreetSmart Edge screener. The only one I use for the screener is the SMA one, the squeeze that we just went over. How many trades can you manage at one time? I like to try to take it one trade at a time. I'm glad I answered your question, Curtis. I hope that made sense. The volume's very, very important in the stock market. Very, very important. And you just keep getting that screen time in. The more you do this and you're here every day, you're going to be better than you were yesterday. You're going to be better than you were a year ago. The more time you put into this, you'll start to see things, get adjusted, get used to what's going on. It's all time. All good things come with time, guys. Back to how many trades can you manage at one time? I personally try to take it one trade at a time. Sometimes I'll take 2 trades at a time, but rarely. That's when, I have multiple setups. Let me show you guys. So this is my top screen right here. And this is six 1-minute charts. So pre-market, I'll see what stocks I want to keep an eye on, and I'll add them up at these 6 charts right here. And then I'll normally have one level 2 with the times and sales on the right. And then I'll just glance up at the charts and see which ones are setting up, which ones look good, every day pre-market before the market opens, I try to pick at least 5 or 6 stocks that I want to focus on right at the open. And then as the day goes on, we'll see how those stocks set up, see what pops up, and then at 10:30, I'll readjust. I'll go back through my stock selections, discard the ones that turned out to be duds, add new ones that pop up, or continue watching the stocks that I've had pre-market. At around 10:30 every day, that's when you'll see the stocks that traded the morning news will start to fade out, and then you'll see all of these chat room pump and dumps pop up, and then those will go into play, and then we'll go into lunch hours, and then after lunch hours we'll have power hour. But I try to take it one trade at a time. I really want to focus on the trade. You're only as good as your last trade. And when you have too many things going on, you can easily overlook the big picture. And I don't want to do that. I want to try to stay in the zone. I'm a big fan of just sitting and watching the tape. I'll just sit, watch the level 2, watch the tape. Because the more time you do this, guys, it's honestly like watching a movie. You're watching a movie between the buyers and the sellers. So I'll just sit here and I'll look at the time, and hours will go by and I haven't even noticed because I'm just sitting here watching the tape, and you can actually visually see buyers, sellers, what's going on. Is somebody flashing trying to scare buyers away? Is somebody flashing trying to prop? There's wild things that go on when you just sit and watch the tape. There really is. But that's just how you get better, and people don't want to do that. They just want hot stock picks. They want to know when to buy and sell. They don't want to put the time into this and actually learn how to do this. And the only way you guys are going to get better, again, screen time. You know, if you work a daytime job, maybe day trading isn't for you. Or maybe you can work something out with your employer to where you can get a couple hours to get screen time in. Or maybe you want to get into swing trading. Maybe that's your thing. But there's multiple ways out there, guys, to make money or trade. You know, you don't have to just trade the US stock market. We have the global markets. We have futures, Forex, currencies, Binance. There's so many. Bitcoin trades 24/7. So you could work your daytime job and you could trade cryptocurrency at night if you'd want, or the futures if you wanted. You know, there's so many options out there for us. That's what's great about the stock market. And once you learn this, guys, you'll know it for a lifetime. It's like riding a bike. Once you learn it, you never forget it. But we've been going now for this live stream for an hour and 12 minutes. Is there any other questions you guys want me to answer before we end this live stream? I want to thank you guys all for coming and tuning in and joining me on this live stream on a Saturday afternoon. Thank you, and thank you all for being a part of this community and subscribing to the channel. And again, if you're just tuning in, if you're interested in joining the Trading Learning 101 Discord group, I have a link in the video description. Feel free to join it. It's wide open for you. So Guy asked, So you close a trade once you see the demand drying out, not with a hard stop loss. No. Before I enter a trade, I always have a profit target and I always have a stop loss. I don't use a physical stop loss. I use a mental stop loss. And it's all about risk versus reward. Risk versus reward. I'm looking for higher probability setups that offer more reward than risk. So it's a multitude of things. I'm a big fan of trading off of mental price levels. So like, for an example, we'll use this chart. $9 is a mental price level, followed by $9.25. That's another mental price level. $9.50, $9.75, $10. Every 25 cents, 50 cents, 75 cents, every $1 is going to act as natural support and resistance. You think I'm pulling your chain? We have 950 right up here. Look at how it topped out all at like that 950 area. We have $9 right here on mental level. Draw a line across. Look at it bounced right at $9. It exploded right here up above $9. Pulled back right here at $9.25. Mental price levels are so huge in the stock market. So before I enter a trade, I always have a plan in my head. I use the history as a reference to help guide the future. So if this stock was trending down, for an example, trending down, trending down, trending down, and I seen that it broke out from this level right here, which is at $9, I'd look for that $9 to hold. I'd put my stop below $9 at like $8.85 because I'll give the stock some room to move. I don't want to be a cheapskate and be really, really tight, because I've seen market makers shake people out and then run the stock up. So if I see my stop So I see the stock come down to $9. I'll put my stop loss at $8.88, $8.85 for an example. And I'll have a price target up near the area where it had resistance or support at, which is right here. So $9.25. So from 9 to $9.25 would be my price target, with a risk below $9. That's pretty much a 2-to-1 risk versus reward. That's what that is. I have pretty much a 10-15 cent stop loss, and I have a price target with a reward of 25 cents. That's a 2-to-1 risk versus reward. And that's when you'd ask yourself, is it worth taking this trade? No. I want to try to look for 3-to-1 risk versus reward. So a reward of buying at $9, selling at $9.50 with a stop loss at $8.90, $8.85. That's a that's like a 4-to-1 risk versus reward right there, or 3-to-1. It depends on the situation. How volatile is the stock? So I don't use hard stop losses. I use mental stop losses, because I've seen it time and time again. The market maker will flush the stock, and they'll flush it hard, and they'll take everybody out, and then they'll rip it right back up, and then they'll grind it all the way up. And that really messes with your mind. If you get in on a trade and you see it flush down, take you out, come right back up, and you would have been in the profit, that's really going to mess with your head if you think about it. And then you're going to get emotional. You're going to let your emotions take over. You're going to chase after it. And then your risk versus reward is out the window because you're emotional. You're revenge trading. You got taken out. You took a loss. It's honestly crazy and wild. That's why I love the stock market. You really have to be in tune with yourself, your emotions. It's a never-ending battle. It really is. So Eric asked, I just tuned in. Are you getting the stocks to watch from the Robin track list? I literally just found that list like last week, and I've only got to view it a couple times. Let me bring it up. My throat's starting to get sore from talking so much. We're an hour and a half into this. But I've just started using this website last week and just discovered it. So I haven't really got to use this too much, but I like the idea of it. And I really am curious and interested to look into this down the road. So I have it saved in my notes. Just I'll go over it another time. Not right now though. Hans Vanderpool says thanks. You're welcome. Guy asks, so okay, but when it goes up closer to your target, you will trail your stop or exit if the reversal say from 970. I always have a plan and I stick to my plan. I'll take profits off. It all depends on the situation, like I said. If I go in large at $9 and when the stock moves its way up, when it moves its way up towards my price target, I'll take pieces off as it goes up. I'm not going to ride it 100% full size all the way up. It's not your profit until you lock it in. So I'm going to lock in profits along the way and let the other pieces of my trade, I'll hold it until it reaches my price target. And then once it gets there, I don't care. I'm selling it. The stock can keep going. $1, $2. I made my trade. I made my money. I took a piece of the move. That's all I want. If you get greedy, you will get destroyed and slaughtered in the stock market. You want to stay humble and stick to your plan. Muff H asks, and this is a good question. How do you decide what time frame you use when drawing support and resistance lines? That's a good question. Let me show you guys how I have mine set up, and you guys can see this. This bottom chart right here, this is my 1 minute time frame. This chart here on the left is my 3 minute time frame. The chart on the right is my 10 minute time frame. And then I'll also use the daily chart. So first, I'll look at the daily chart, which is this. I'll see where the stock is at currently. where it's at, where the moving average is. Currently, plug, we're looking at this. I'll see the price action that it's recently done. So recently it just had 2 red days. It just had a nice good green day. That's what I like to call a rubber band play. And I'll look at the history. I see some resistance here at 973 at a $10 mental level. And then from this, I'll go to my 10-minute. How's the price action? I see a head and shoulders pattern right there. It's not the greatest looking head and shoulders, but I get the general idea because look at it. You got your shoulder right there. You got a shoulder right there. You got your head up here. And look what the stock did. It topped out right at those 2 shoulders. So with the 10-minute, I like to get an idea of the trend. Right now it's battling resistance. So it's at a wall. I'm not going to try to buy in at that wall, hoping that it breaks out. You got to think, and this is no offense, you have to always look at the stock market. What's the dumb money doing and what's the smart money doing? The smart money, waiting for it to come back down at $9 right there. That's the last support level on it. So currently right now at $9.30, it's right in the middle of its range from $9 at the support to the resistance at almost $9.75. And it looks like it's topping out right there. So it's looking like it's going to go lower. But from this 10-minute, this is my main chart that I look at. And from here, I start to generate a plan. What's the trend? What's the direction of the stock? Where it's at? And then using the daily also. And then from there, I'll work my way down to the 3-minute. What's the 3-minute telling me? And then from there, I'll keep drawing my support and resistance lines. What's the stock telling me? All the way to when I get to the 1-minute chart. It's using multiple time frames and multiple factors to formulate a plan and an idea. So Floyd asked, are you looking at the 5-minute candle? I don't look at 5-minute charts. 1-minute, 3-minute, 10-minute charts are the only charts that I look at. And then a quick tip. Sometimes I'll look at an hourly chart where one candle is 1 hour. But instead of looking at a 60-minute candle, I look at 65-minute charts. Because you got to think about it. And I learned this in Brian Shannon's book, How to Read the Stock Market Using Multiple Time Frames. The stock market is open from 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 6.5 hours the stock market is open. If you're looking at 60-minute charts, you're missing data on that chart. You're missing a half an hour of data because every candle is 60 minutes. So if you bump it up to a 65-minute chart, it'll even it out for the whole entire trading day. Once I read that and learned that, I've never looked back at 60-minute charts. So to myself, when I see people posting on Twitter or Instagram or see people using 60-minute charts, I laugh to myself because I say you're missing data. You have incorrect data you're looking at. Eric, go to the leaderboard tab. I'll check that out when after I make this live stream. But you're welcome. No problem for asking or answering your question. So we'll answer a couple more questions and we'll call this live stream. We've been going now for an hour and a half. I don't want to make this any longer because I know not many people are going to watch it. I'm probably going to bomb your name, but I think your username's trying to say Ladybug, but I'm going to say Lubig. You says, you are a very good teacher. I am studying some of the books you have recommended. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the kind words there. I take a lot of dedication and I'm very passionate about what I do and the stock market. And I was new once. This is a very, very hard game and world to learn. So I'm happy that I'm able to do this for you guys. I love doing this. I'm passionate about it. Floyd asked what time frame you usually look at. I just answered that question. Sean, I see that volume at price on the 3-minute channel. Still trying to figure out how to effectively read it. 3-minute chart. Alright, we'll go over that one. This is volume profile. The volume bars that you see here on the right side, right here, and how you access that and how you set it up. Open the tab here on the right. And it is volume at price. So if you go to view all studies, it's going to be under volume. On the far right at the bottom, volume at price. Select that. And then once you have this up, now this is important. You have to get this right. Over on the far right here, number of bars. Put that to 100. 100. 100. Once you do that, you could select the colors that you want. I keep it up for green, down for red. Click OK. And then this will pop up on your chart. Now, what this is telling me, and I love volume at price. This is telling me all of the traded buying or all of the traded volume, the buying and the selling at a specific price level. So with this, and what I want to look for are these big volume spikes right here. That's what I want to look for when using volume at price. The bigger that volume spike is, the more activity at that specified price. Now, once I've drawn these volume things, and if I continue drawing it over, look at right at the top right there, it found resistance. Right at the bottom there, it found support. And what you want to see is big clusters of volume like that. So let's say the stock is forget all of this over here. Don't even pay attention to that right now. Let's say the stock is moving its way up right here. It's slowly moving its way up, and then it comes up to this big area right here of volume on that. That's going to act as resistance. And then once it breaks through that volume cluster there, you'd be looking for that to hold as support. And then work its way on up to the next big cluster of volume at the volume at price. That's where the money is. That's why I use this indicator. Did that answer your question for you? How long have I been trading? I've been doing this for 5 years. I've learned to trade my first 3 years, and then I started YouTube. I've only been doing YouTube for 2 years, but I've been actively day trading for 5 years. I'm not like a lot of these new people that you see on YouTube. I always say you have to be careful who you learn from on YouTube. There are so many people out there that don't know what they're talking about, and they just started trading a couple months ago, a year ago. And I'm not tooting my horn, I learned to trade my first 3 years, and then I started doing YouTube. After I learned this game and how to trade, so that way I could teach you guys. Why would I teach you guys about something that I don't even know, or I'm learning myself? That's what scratches my head about some of these people on here. And there's a lot of channels that are really big, and I just shake my head at how many followers they have. But the way I look at it, that's dumb money. That's easy taken. I'm a wolf in the stock market. It's very ruthless. So there's a great book on that by Anna Culling. Can be found anywhere almost. Yup, Volume at Price. Volume Price Analysis by Anna Culling. That is a must read book. But the volume profile looks different at the beginning of the day. This is on a 3-minute time frame. This volume profile. And when I zoom out, I'm using data from the history. I'm not using it on the current day. I wouldn't want to use a volume profile on a 1-minute chart. The bigger time frame that you use volume at price, the better. The better it will work. Joel says he likes using the money volume and share structure. That's a good idea. But I hope I was able to answer your guys' question. And Sean, answer your question about the volume at price. The indicators that I use. So the indicators, on my 1 minute, I use the VWAP. The VWAP, I've been using it my whole career. I've been using VWAP before it gained popularity. So that's what this orange line is right here. And then I have these moving averages on my 3-minute chart. But you don't have to use these moving averages. I'm the type of trader, I'm really big into Fibonacci and Fibonacci retracements and projections. So what I've done is I've taken Fibonacci numbers and I've plotted them on my 3-minute chart. So if you guys are interested and want them, the blue line is the 8 EMA exponential moving average. The red line is the 13 EMA The purple line is the 21 EMA, and this yellow line is the VWAP, and then I have volume at price. Those are the only indicators that I use. And then for my 10 minute, I just have the 8 EMA and the 21 EMA. I also have volume at price on this chart also. And you see how I zoom out? It's going way, way back, all the way to April, the middle of April. So that's the key thing with volume at price. It's using historical data to give you these. So don't try using these on a 1 minute chart trying to find support and resistance, because it's not really going to work. It's more of a historical tool that you use. And that's with any indicator. Don't rely on indicators, guys. It's all, keep it simple. Volume should always be number one. Volume. Followed by price action. You'll be surprised how much volume tells you. I do not use option implied volatility to locate equity trade prospects. No, I don't. Anything to do with options, I don't mess with options. The only thing that I use is the VIX. Every day I'll check the VIX to see how high it is, if it's gapping up, gapping down, to get a general idea of the volatility in the market. And I'll use beta to see if the stock is correlated with the market, the S&P 500. Hans Vanderpool says, do you know what institutional traders use as indicators? No, I don't. I know they use VWAP and basic moving averages, but your institutional traders like SMB Capital, they make a lot of videos. They share what they use and the tools that they have. If you don't know about SMB Capital, you're missing out. That's a very good channel. Goldman Sachs, the big banks, they have tools that we couldn't even touch. That's the big money. Forex markets, I don't know about Forex. There's a lot of shady stuff that goes on in the Forex markets. I've heard it's heavily manipulated, but that's my opinion. No problem. Glad to help. Alright guys, I think that's about going to wrap it up. Thank you for joining me, guys, on this Saturday evening. We're approaching 2 hours on this live stream. What about Garley pattern? Do they really work or not? I've never heard of that. The Garley pattern. I don't really pay attention to what other people are doing as patterns. I honestly, guys, if you focus on what other people are using to make money and trade, you're missing the big picture and the point. You're supposed to be focusing on yourself, not what other people are doing, because you want to find out what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, get that screen time in, and develop your own strategies, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to make that money consistently. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is by formulating and generating your own ideas and plans. Finding out your strengths and weaknesses, like I said. And if you guys are interested in joining the Discord, the Trading Learning 101 Discord, I have a link in this video description. Click on that. It's free to join. You guys are more than welcome to come. I'm always posting my ideas, stocks I'm watching, chatting, answering questions, all kinds of educational content in here, guys, all for free at your fingertips. So head on over, join, and check out